get started with questions.
And Daniel Gotero, KHOU in Houston. Coach, how impressed have you been with Taze Moore's development, not just as a player, as a person, all the things that he went through before he got here, and just entering this culture that you've built, the way he's established himself as the player that he's become?
Yeah, well, obviously with the rules, you can't contact kids until after they put their name in the portal. I had no idea who he was. Because of the success of certain positions like Quentin Grimes transferring from Kansas and developing and becoming a first-round draft choice, guys look at that, and so you get a lot of calls from intermediaries about our interest in certain kids. But Tajay just kind of popped out of nowhere. We needed to replace Dejan Giroux's athleticism. So we're looking for an athlete. But one of the things that helped us with Tajay was his coach. That's not a comfortable. You've got to have a relationship with the coach at the school the kid's leaving. Because I would, if I had a kid leave that had another year of eligibility, I think that's probably a tough conversation, talking to another coach, because you'd like to have him back, and he's asking questions. But I had a great relationship with Rod Barnes, and Rod said, "Hey, if he's going to leave, I'd rather have him play for somebody that I know and respect." So, but Tajay is a Mississippi kid, humble, down to earth, courteous, respectful, nice, great teammate. It's been a blessing to have him in our program. Sometimes you got to get lucky. We didn't make him the kind of kid he was. We got that when we recruited him. But Tajay just needed to become a better basketball player. He was a ping kid. He's just all over the place. Pretty good at some things, but not really good at anything but dunking after practice. He put on a show. I called the NABC guys. They have a dunk contest at the Final Four. I just called them a couple weeks ago to make sure he got in it. Shouldn't have a dunk contest unless that kid's in it. But he's become a really good basketball player. He's become somebody we trust. And I think his greatest strength is not his athleticism, it's his fearlessness. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of the moment. We've, playing at this level was hard for him early. Playing Virginia, playing Oregon, playing Butler, who else? Oklahoma State. We played a lot of really good teams in non-conference. But every time he went out there, he got more comfortable. And we've been able to marry his athleticism with him becoming a better basketball player. And now he's really taken off here in the last month or so.
Mike?
Hey, Kelvin, Mike Finger, San Antonio Express News. I'm wondering if being back in this building has brought back any memories for you, even though it's just a few months, and how important was that time in your career that you spent here with Pop?
Well, yesterday I went over to the Spurs practice facility, and of course Pop left me a bottle of wine, really, really nice note, and a bunch of Spurs gear. It felt like a camper, except you wouldn't give wine to a camper, would you? But after the Illinois game, I looked at my phone and I had a text from Bud, Mike Budenhauser. Pop has really enjoyed watching this team. We played Memphis in the conference championship game, ever how many days ago that was, and he sent me this extended long text. Of course, your phone starts blowing up, but RC called as soon as he found out we were going to be in San Antonio. He called me yesterday, he called me this morning. Once you're in the Spurs family, you're family for life. I mean, those are great friends, and I'm so appreciative of Pop for so many things. But when I went out in the court today, you think back to that time, and what a great experience it was for me. So just really blessed.
Randy McElvoy, KBRC, Channel 2 in Houston. Kelvin, a lot has been said throughout this season after losing Sasser, after losing Mark. How would this team respond? And you've been asked this many times, but now that you're here in this Sweet 16 and the job you and your staff have done and how the kids have responded, can you put that in perspective after losing 2 stars and how it's kind of the next man up mentality?
Yeah, I think all coaches go through that. I don't think that makes us special or unique. We all have to deal with injuries. I guess the blessing was it happened early in conference season. Now Marcus was having one of those, Quentin was an All-American last year, player of the year in the conference, all that stuff, first-round draft choice. But Quentin didn't play like Marcus did his first 12 games. It took a long time for somebody to catch him. I think he made 45 or 46 threes, made 45, 46 threes his first 12 games. But his defense, his leadership, that's what we miss with Marcus. I remember playing Alcorn State, and he graded out higher than anybody we had ever in one of those kind of games. He had 6 steals. I don't think his man got a clean shot off. He had multiple defensive rebounds, leadership. Just could count on him. Averaging 18 points a game. We'll find a way to get 18. He wasn't averaging 40. He was averaging 18. Us 4 or 5 guys getting 3 or 4 more points. We'll figure that out. But you can't replace his leadership and confidence. He was the guy our kids looked up to. Tramon, early in the season, Tramon was playing great, and then his shoulder took a hit. So he was in and out. And we had kind of moved on with our starting lineup of Marcus, Kyler, and we were either going to start Jamal. Jamal wasn't Jamal then. He was still a freshman in a lot of ways. But looking back, I don't know if I'm prepared to put it in perspective right now, maybe when the season's over. But we just kind of prepared for the moment. Our next game was Temple on the road. We didn't have Marcus, we didn't have Tramon, and we didn't have Kyler. Our first guard was Fabian. That was just what we had to deal with. And we found a way to win the game, and then the next one, and then I think we started off 9-0 with 5 of those wins on the road. So because we were down those 2 guys, we just kind of just locked in a cocoon and just got ready for the next game and just tried to figure out how we were going to navigate this. And then we had a stretch there where we lost 2 in a row. We were up 15 at SMU, and I think we had 3 guys with 4 fouls. And foul trouble is one of our things that we have to we fear. We just don't have the depth in the backcourt, and then fatigue. So, but we've been dealing with that all year. Every coach has to deal with this stuff, so I don't think we're unique or special.
Here in the front.
Hi, Coach. Stefan from Journal of Montreal. Just like to know your thoughts on Arizona's Bennedict Mathurin and what kind of challenges he poses to you guys.
I haven't seen a lot of teams like the guard from Kansas. I've read about him, but I've never really watched him. But I've watched Benedict. What do you call him? What do they call him? Ben. He doesn't have a like Big Ben or B Money. I mean, he's none of that stuff. Just Benedict. I mean, you guys have nicknames, right? Let's just call him Ben. But whatever you call him, he's the best guard we've seen, and that's not coach speak. That's the truth. I was in the NBA for 6 seasons, and he's an NBA guy, and he's not going to go in and be a role player. He'll start. he's going to get drafted so high that they're going to start him, and that'll be good for his development. I mean, he's a first-day starter for an NBA team. He has everything you need. He can create a shot. He's a tremendous defender. He's got next-level acceleration, and he can really shoot. And I was reading a quote that Coach Tommy Lloyd said, that he's got the clutch gene. That's a great quote. He does. That shot, those plays he made at the end of the TCU game. Some guys are afraid of those moments. That shows you what he's made out of. So he's a really impressive young man.
In the back, last question for Coach here.
Coach Don Harris, WOAI NBC here in San Antonio. I remember in the early 2000s when you were president of the NABC, you were a real advocate for San Antonio as a Final Four host city. In fact, I think you said the Final Four should be in San Antonio every year. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on when you found out that you were going to be in this regional this year, and if you still feel that way.
Yeah, I don't think for people that have not been to San Antonio, this is a destination place. We're staying at the Hilton right by the Riverwalk, and my wife and 2 grandkids and my daughter-in-law went out walking on the Riverwalk. And the reason I liked it for these NCAA, young coaches can bring their families. If you got young kids, you bring your family, bring your wife, bring your kids. Let them enjoy, because the weather's going to be good. There's a million things to do. You got the aquarium, you got the zoos, you got stuff to do here. And it's not 20 degrees. San Antonio is, I was telling one of my assistant coaches that San Antonio is one of the 10 most populated cities in America. He didn't know that. But the proximity of the Alamo Dome to downtown, the hotel, the airport, and then once you get all the coaches here, there's something for the older coaches and then the younger coaches. And I always encourage younger coaches to, when you come to these events, to bring your wife and bring your kids and let them see what you do. Let them see you interact with the other coaches and the relationships you build, because these careers go fast. When you think back to when you started, and obviously I'm rounding third somewhere. I don't know if I'm 2 steps by it or 2 steps from home plate. I don't know, but I'm somewhere between home and third. But I just was talking to Jay Wright. I've known Jay for 30 years, and the greatest thing about coaching is not the wins and losses, but the relationships you build along the way. And the more you can involve your family in those situations, I think the more solid a career you can have.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Okay, thank you.